Morning, it's the 23rd of Feb. Fat market day. There's 6 cattle going this morning, 6 of these tidy heifers. Here's one here, look. He's marked it with a little white mark on its back. Hello. But it's absolutely solid with beef. Is that? Yeah, and there's a limmy behind it, a limmy there. Where's others? Yeah, as I say, there's 6 going, but last week's trade was a bit down. We had 6 bullocks in, and yeah, they didn't weigh quite as heavy as we thought, and yeah, trade was back, but fat prices, dead weight on the hook prices is back a bit. So I mean, it had to get to a peak, didn't it? And I think it's got to the peak, and it's just on the slide a little bit. But is there a shortage of money? Are people not spending as much as they were? Are they not going out for steaks? A lot of cows on market because the milk job's pretty poor. In fact, it's criminal how they're treating the milk people. How they've just decided, because there's a little bit of overproduction, knock them 10p. You know, they'd get a shock if everybody poured it down drain for a week, wouldn't they? The big milk crisis of 2026. Yeah, that's what they want, innit? They want a shortage. To say, I always think that to say our industry is at the top of the food chain, we provide everything what you eat comes, well, majority of stuff comes out of off a farm, unless you live from nature. Comes off a farm, and the farmers are absolutely crucified with every price. They have no control of anything, of any prices. They just get told what they're having by the big companies, and I don't know whether it'll alter. But yeah, beef job's down a bit. He must have had an early start because he's come out of Lincolnshire. Lincolnshire. A good job at all, because we were out of food. Nothing's completely out, but they had only a few dregs in bottom of trough, so they're very mucky today. This wet, damp atmosphere. We're going through a hell of a lot of straw, a ridiculous amount of straw. Horrible screwy pigs in here. They start all the little ones, like I've told you before, start all the little ones into one yard. And they do, well, they go at the end of the batch and do a job, I presume. I mean, they're just small, like. 2 load of pigs went on Sunday, Ollie loaded them. Yeah, it's just made us a bit of space, which will ease the straw burden. I think there's another half dozen bullocks going. Spoke to a butcher yesterday about a couple of these little Hereford heifers. I don't know whether he's keen or not, to be honest. I sent him some pictures, and he's coming back to me. But what my idea is, I would like to taste one, but I don't want the hassle of all this box beef and one thing or another. But I will tell anybody local that if it comes to something, I will tell people, and they can go to the shop if they're interested in tasting beef off this farm. But yeah, there's these 2. No, there's that one. This bullock isn't quite fit yet. There's 2 heifers. There's this one here. So we'll see what he says. He's ringing me back today, whether he's interested in putting one through his shop. But yeah, the rest of the heifers sold fairly well. Our weights are down though. They aren't just quite weighing as good this year as they did last. You know, they just seem to be, they look fit, but they aren't, you know, well, like I said, they aren't as dense, maybe. Is that the word? They aren't as dense. Just playing with this downwalk. Wow. D37, D2. Long legs. I think UCM bodies. Hydraulic front furrow. Very, very tidy plough actually for its year. Turns over perfect. There's a pipe to do on front furrow. Apart from that, she's ready to go. Rear discs, all skimmers good. Metal, very, very good. First person with 1250 can take her away. We've had this on the job list for a long while. These tines have got as baggy as ever in their cones, because I mean the cones are worn out. So we've bought new cones and 4 new spikes, slightly longer and heavy duty anyway. Danny from Spalding's, our rep, he came other day and he reckons, well, he says they sell a lot of these type of tines, which are here, and he says they're very, very durable. But I mean, I made this bloody bracket. I made this Bale spike when we got our first Manitou, which was a rear engine one. I think it was either 06 or 09. And them cones have been in since new. We'll have had a few tines in its day, because we seem to, cold weather makes tines very brittle. And if some of our silage is a little bit juicy and heavy, and if you don't just get them quite hanging on right, you do break tines. But what we're putting in is a lot heavier duty tine. So yeah, it's good to deal with this Danny, our rep. Spalding's, they have a catalogue, they're full of stuff, all sorts of bloody stuff, to be honest. Yeah, so that's the job today. Because you don't realise how much stuff wears, do you? I mean, we could have nearly got away with you just bunging tines in, but you still have all that sag, you know, so you're never really going to get it tight and held in a position where it's got to be 100%. So, right, that's the job. Chop them out with gas bottles, put the new ones in, tack them in, line them all up when it's upright, and then re-weld them in. Phil's just tidying my garden edge up, and then we're going to service it up and yoke it off. That's it for another season. It's done us proud, the little McConnell, and it still cooks very, very well. I mean, it'd be nice to have electric control and a bit bigger, powerfuler head. But what we want to do, saves that contracting free, doesn't it? That's a really good job, hasn't it? Right, finishing touches to the Bale spike. We've got them cut out. The old ones cut out, and the new ones welded back in. All I've got to do now is tighten the nuts up into the cones, so it pulls the new tines into the cones, and we're away. We're going to give it a lick of paint, but it is what it is, isn't it? It's a Bale spike. So yeah, these things take time though, don't they? You know, you don't realise, you know, you start a project or you start a little job and it takes you most of the day when you're doing other stuff. The Spalding's rep, he's given us this to try as well, sort of, I don't know, to try and promote them from. They're a tungsten point for our Simba Solo, and because we wore an unbelievable, I was telling him how much metal we wore last year, and he says, I'll try one of these. So he's bought one of these to put alongside the others, but I said to him, I says, we don't do a lot of spring work with it, it's more for back end. He says, oh, well, keep it on the shelf, I'll put it on for when you start at back end, and then we'll do some experiments. Anyway, apparently these bloody tungsten points the cell, allow it to do a normal point 10 times over. So they aren't cheap though, but other ones aren't cheap, and the downtime of knocking your fingers changing points as well. So that'll be interesting to sort of try that at back end. Morning, gang. Don't go by this beat, but we've got a lot of beat left, but this is just some off the horrible beat base. What a disaster that was. We thought we were doing right getting that bloody gravel off our neighbour, and it's just turned to shit. But so I'm bringing all the crap down here, and they're to both cattle outside. But these are fair. These are, to be fair, well, we're nearly to a point of moving the fence to lure them out the rest of the paddock, because in the bottom of the field it's very wet and they've made a terrible mess. Well, they've made a terrible mess up top here, but we'll probably scrape up and reseed this little bit, just stitch a bit of seed in. But yeah, they're utilising this horrible stuff. Yeah, we just keep putting the slop a little bit aside and bring these lot, and it don't bother them at all. I'm afraid, young lad, this fella will be going away soon. In solitary, well, we'll probably put one of his girls with him, but we're going to put bulls in later on, so it's a little bit kind of weather, like on now for calving rather than Christmas. So it's a bit kind of weather for calving, but he's quieting down, his big lad. You know, where he was horribly pokey, untrustworthy, he's quieting down. But obviously you don't trust them 100%, do you? You always have to have eyes in back of your head. Well, to be fair, with all stock. Oh, what you been doing there? Oh, see what I mean? lovely to see a bit of sun on a morning. You know, we change it. I see trees. Well, the snowdrops have been out 3 weeks. Real early ones. Daffs are showing. And I think, are we changing? Oh, we've got a bit of spring in the air. Days are getting a lot shorter. On a bright day, days are getting a lot longer. And I think we're turning a corner. Hedges are starting to bud a little bit. Willow trees are starting to show a bit of life. Grass is definitely growing. Bloody hell, our grass is growing massively. What I want to do is I want to cut it a bit soon in a month's time.